Idaho-centric, Idaho-focused. Ticker symbol is ITKO, I for Idaho, TKO for technical knockout. We just got a dual listing into the US. We are now GLD-RF, GLD for gold, RF as a foreign issuer. And I'm just going to highlight a few things with regards to the company. Forward-looking statements, everybody has seen those. The only addition to that would be you may hear a screaming teenager behind me would be a forward-looking statement. We have 2 projects in Idaho. You can see the Banner project. That's a brand new discovery that had as a project that we picked up from a family that had controlled it since 1896. We purchased that in 2016 for $500,000 US, no cash, no royalty. We then created Idaho Champion. We staked additional ground after doing an IP program, soils and geochem. We have a very nice land package there now. The second project I'll speak to today is a Champagne project. And as Keith said, BEMA had this in production 89 through 92. It was one of the first open pit heap leaches in the Pacific Northwest. And we've now increased our land package there to about 10 square miles. As a management team, we look at everything first and foremost as investors. It's important to have skin in the game. We own about 32% of the company. That's all paid for stock. I've agreed to a 3-year lockup. My shareholders and my partners, the advantage my shareholders have is liquidity. So we believe that this is not a 10 times or not a 10% return. We're looking for a 10 times our money return. Idaho has a jurisdiction. It's certainly starting to get a lot more notice. There's now been over $220 million raised for juniors in the state of Idaho this calendar year. We just raised $8.1 million through a bought deal prospectus offering, so it's free trading already through Beacon, PI, and Echelon. That closed on July 30th. In addition to that, we've seen a tremendous support from the government and the governor. The governor has been traveling, or somebody from within his office, to Vancouver, Toronto, New York, Chicago, being keynote speaker at mining conferences, literally saying, we're open for business, we want job creation. And so they've been very supportive. You'll see the map of Idaho, sits south of British Columbia and north of Nevada. The first thing I'd say is that geology does not stop at the border. The geology of Nevada carries into Idaho. Slides 5 and slide 6, I would say, are the 2 most important takeaway slides. On our website, we have a more robust presentation. This is a brief presentation, but certainly on the website presentation, it goes into a lot more detail in terms of drill results and the progress we're making at the project. At Banner, we are already in our drill program. We're doing a 3,000 meter core program. We've completed 7 holes. We've just mobilized to the 8th hole. We intend having that program completed about the middle of November. Certainly excited about what we're seeing there. The Google Earth image on the left side of this slide. As an investor, when I meet with companies, the first thing I want to know is where's the closest gold mine and when was it last in production? This slide tells me everything you need to know. We've got known deposits north of us. We have the Banner project where we've made our discovery in 2018. And we've got the Friday deposit 5 miles south of us. The Friday is owned by Endo Mines, which is a Swedish-Finnish mining company. On April 9th this year, they announced commercial production at the Friday. So as an investor, what that tells me, if Banner can prove up enough ounces, permits are possible, mines can get built. If you look at the claim block on the right-hand side of this slide, you'll see the blue dots are the discovery program of 2018. The purple dots are the drill pad locations where we're currently drilling. We're moving to the northeast of that discovery zone. In 2018, the question was, is there gold? We answered that question. The question now for 2020 is, how much gold is there? So we continue to march the drill to the north, chasing IP and soils and geochem. Next slide is on Champagne, so we're now going to turn our attention over near Arco. The picture on the right you can see is the open pit that BEMA left behind. Our land package is in the claim blocks on the left. The teal blue was our original land package that we staked ourselves. We then approached Kinross to buy the data because Kinross had taken out BEMA in 2006. When we approached Kinross, we weren't sure what we were talking about. It took them a number of months to come back. Once they realized they did have the data, we negotiated and we bought that in March of this year. Another crucial aspect for us as a company is the governor deemed mining and exploration essential services through the COVID pandemic. So while a lot of our colleagues were told tools down, go home, we were busy in the field. During the last 4 months, we did 3 acquisitions and a lease option to consolidate the camp. We also staked an additional 184 claims. We now control 10 square miles. So when we got the data from Kinross, my Geo and I were on a phone and I'm looking at this map and says, see all those pits and the old mines? He goes, we don't have enough ground. This is a camp, not a project. We need to get more ground. So that's what we did. We went out and we started acquiring and securing. And then one of the families we dealt with when we were negotiating for the St. Louis mine, an 83-year-old patriarch, he goes, you see those pits, right? He said, yeah. Because that's where you're going to drill. I said, well, I'm going to let my geologist tell me where to drill, but why would you say that? He goes, old timers didn't mine waste rock. They mined ore. It had to be 4 ounces of silver, ½ ounce gold, or some combination for them to be digging in there. That's where you want to start. So when I first looked at the map, I immediately thought, this looks like Burkina Faso or Mali. You know, this is a bunch of artisanal workings at surface. You're going to have some big international gold company come in and drill at 3 to 5 million ounces. We think there's a huge opportunity here. So we're currently drilling. We've got announced a 5,000 meter program. We started with an RC rig. We've now mobilized a second rig. We've got a core rig there too. We'll drill there probably through American Thanksgiving. We have assays from both Banner and Champagne in the lab currently. Obviously, everybody funded at the same time, so labs will be slow in getting information out, but we anticipate seeing our first holes out of Banner probably in the next 10 days, depending on the lab's ability to turn that around. But at Champagne, what we've done is we tapped into our geologic Rolodex of relationships. This is our first time getting our fingernails dirty. We know BEMA drilled 100-meter holes. They never tested at depth. When I talked to the BEMA team from that were there when it was in production, they said it was a sub $250 gold price, $4 silver price. We were in a shoestring budget. We were not able to go out and do any regional exploration. We're not able to do anything at depth. So what we've done is we've put together a program where we're looking at in and around the pit with the RC rig, but we're also drilling at depth with the core rig. So we're underway on a 500-meter hole to see what's tested at depth and structure. We've called in these old timers, an organic gold specialist, an epithermal specialist, a structural geologist, all to come in, spend 7 to 10 days in the field with our team, mentor our young geos, do some mapping, do some sampling, provide us a report at the end. As we get that new data back from the drill program that's underway, the soils and the geochem, have them come back. What does it mean now? So as we start to get our new information, create critical IP for us as a company. How do we best tackle this project? We think this is a game-changing project for us, and certainly a project that's worthy of a major. In addition to the oxide cap, there's the gold silver mine that BEMA had. We think there's some opportunities for porphyry at depth, and we're going to be looking to test that. This is a zoom in of the historic pit. It looks like a footprint. Important to highlight that that's on patented ground. Patented ground is the best ground you can have in the U.S. The only permit you need on patented ground is water reclamation. So we have that permit, and we're drilling currently. We've had the BLM out to visit the site about 10 days ago to show them our potential drill pad locations and where we'd like to be drilling. We'll be submitting our drill permit application for Champagne in the next 2 weeks. We anticipate that to be a 30 to 60 day turnaround, so we can come back in and start drilling in first quarter. We can work 12 months a year at Champagne. At Banner, it's more seasonal. They get a lot more snow, so we'll once we stop drilling in the middle of November at Banner, we won't get back out with the drill bit until probably middle of May, late May. We're well funded, and certainly we'll be looking to add a second rig to Banner and look to have 2 rigs turning at Champagne next year. On the website, in the presentation, you'll see some of the data from the historic opportunities at the Champagne and why we think there's a number of ounces left remaining. The pit itself was an average depth of 35 meters. We know from having the historic results from Kinross, they had a number of holes in and around the pit that showed that the ounces went beyond that. You know, 8609 was a hole that was 71 meters of 1.5 grams gold, 42 grams silver. Well, that part of the pit was 35 meters, so we know there was ounces left in the bottom. Outside of the pit, 115 meters south of the pit, you can see 8620 here. That was 44 meters and 1.9 grams gold, 79 grams silver. That is intact, never touched by the mining operation. So that's an important thing to show the halo goes around the pit. To the north, we have a trench up at the north end of the pit at 67 meters and 1.3 grams gold, 147 grams silver. Again, intact, still there. What our opportunity is to determine how much was taken, how much is remaining, and how much more can be discovered in addition to that. Slide 8 is what I like to refer to as our report card. These are all the things that we're busy doing in the field. This is what's going to be the activity level that generates news flow. I anticipate between now and calendar year end having at least 20 press releases. We're trying to have 1 a week to update our shareholders and the investment community. In addition to the press releases, we've created an Idaho Champion YouTube channel. We're flying drones on a weekly basis across the property, so you can see the terrain we're working in. You can see the open pit. You can see the RC rig in the bottom of the pit. You can see the core rig southeast of the pit. It's important in this time and age where you're not able to travel due to the restrictions for investors to have the chance to see that we're actively busy in the field advancing the assets. So this is, as we go forward, this is what I refer to as a report card. This is what we can be held accountable to in terms of how we're advancing the assets. In terms of the capital structure, As I said, management owns about 32% of the company. We've got a option, a warrants. I know others have spoken poorly of warrants. I will say it is a natural funding mechanism. We have 4 million Canadian in the money warrants that we can call at any time. That's insiders, family, friends, and repeat investors. We also had warrants as a part of that bought deal that closed on July 30th at 45 cents. I'm confident with the amount of news flow we'll have coming out this fall, we'll be repriced and well in advance of that in terms of share price. So really, when I look at my treasury, I have $17 million available over the next 18 months of drilling. We have a market cap of $23 million with $7 million in the bank. So basically a third of my market cap is cash. We're drilling an oxide discovery at Banner. We're expanding on an oxide past producing asset at Champagne. As a management team, we have 3 based in Toronto, 2 are American. Greg Schifrin is my lead director out of Sandpoint, Idaho, geologist by background. He's been crucial to us for the last 6 months in terms of managing the relationships at the agencies and the families and getting the 2 programs underway. Patrick Highsmith is my most recent appointment. He's a geologist based in Denver. He just came back from a 2-year stint with Fortescue. The goal for me with Patrick is when he was at Newmont, he was responsible for joint ventures into juniors as Newmont. And so I've asked him to manage our data. How we present our data is important. We've been approached by a number of mid-tier and large cap gold companies, and we need to be presenting our information in a way that's familiar to them so as to not give them pause or concern. Our strategy here is we have 2 projects that we believe can turn into mines. And if we do this the right way, the decision to mine will be made by somebody else because we'll have done a good job of stewardship through that process. So in short, we have 2 multi-million ounce opportunities in the state of Idaho, now ranked 8th in the world by the Fraser Institute, 3rd in North America. Now it ranks any province in Canada with strong insider ownership aligned with our shareholders, funded through 2021 with aggressive programs in a rising gold market. In a U.S. election year where the U.S. retail market starved for gold ideas, we think we have a compelling thesis.